Okay, this is April 23rd, 2019. We're going to talk about some of the trades that we've had. So this was an HL30 to the upside on the pound dollar. This one worked out perfectly. So sometimes, and I'll talk about the HL30s, and I discuss this in greater detail in my trading course. So my trading course is a bonus that you get with a full paid subscription to the Trade Copier EA service. It's a membership site, access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can get in there and watch all the videos, and I teach my entire trading strategy. So I want to show you some of the tips for trading the HL30, and this is how I apply it. So I developed this HL30 method many years ago, and through the years I've developed ways to identify how to improve the performance, because some of them obviously will fail, just like any other strategy. But I'm looking for ways to, and I develop methods, filters, to identify when a trade is likely to fail in a situation like this. So with this HL30, this one was a perfect example, and I talked about why with Monday's low leading into Tuesday's retest of that low, we were looking at the daily time frame, and you could see that the daily time frame was testing that support low as well on the daily time frame. So this was all developing at a pretty significant support low. That's something that I definitely want to see if I'm going to be using, for example, the ghost pattern, the Woody's CCI ghost pattern, because you'll see the Woody's CCI down there at the bottom. I do use the CCI by itself for confirmation on the HL30, but on occasion I'll trade that ghost pattern, which is a Woody's CCI pattern. I need to be using the Woody's CCI indicator if I'm going to be doing that. And I would prefer to execute that ghost pattern, that strategy, which is a reversal. It's a bounce. It looks like a head and shoulders pattern within the CCI indicator itself. And I would prefer to trade those ghost patterns when, again, price is at significant support or resistance. I don't want to do it when it doesn't look very clear or it looks like it's still in a downtrend, because chances are it's just going to continue, and I'm going to get stopped out if I try to trade against it. So that's the same thing that I'm doing with the HL30s. When I look at the HL30, I'm pretty selective about it. I don't trade every HL30 that I see. A lot of them I just pass on them because they don't look right. They don't look like they're setting up at the right location. They look like, let's say, if there was a previous continuation breakout trade, which I'm going to show you in just a moment, I don't want to trade against the previous continuation breakout trade. But I'll show you what I'm talking about when it comes to previous trades if I see an HL30 after. But this was one of those situations where it just bounced right off of the support low from the previous day and the daily time frame, and then I had all of the indicator confirmation with the actual entry on the Tech 1 trade. So the Tech 1 trade, or the Tech 1 pattern, that's the candle pattern that puts me into the trade. And then I use a 20 pip stop and a 20 pip target. So here the target was 1.3003, and you can see sometimes it'll go a little bit further, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it'll stop almost a pip or two beyond that. Whatever the case is, it's important and it's critical to lock in profits at that location. So this one paid, I think I net approximately 17 and a half, almost 18 pips on this trade. And the reason why, when I say a 20 pip stop and a 20 pip target, I'm not looking at my trading platform inside of my account and then trading it until I see 20 pips profit in my trading platform. Some people do that. I don't. I prefer to trade from the entry on the charts based on the candle pattern to the 20 pip target. I do the same thing with the continuation breakout trade on the 55 pip take profit. Same thing happens there. I don't look for 55 pips inside of my trading platform because I know that at different times I'm going to see sometimes a different spread. And the spread is going to affect how many pips I actually net. Now, if you're there and you're actively managing the trade and you see it reaching your target and you can see that it's going to push through, then sure, you can pick up an extra 2 pips on the spread and you'll earn, whether it's a continuation breakout trade, 55 pips or 20 pips on the HL30. But again, I don't mess around based on, and I don't play around with my figures based on what I see in the trading platform. I'm strongly a believer into trading what I see here in price on the charts. It's the only way to maintain consistency, and even when I'm explaining my trading strategy, I want everybody to see what I see on the charts, not what they see in their trading platform. So that's the reason it was about 17 and a half. Some people will net 18 depending on their spread. Some people maybe even a little bit more with the trade copier. But you know, sometimes if it's pushing through, I wasn't really too sure that it was going to go this far. And as far as it did, I think it cleared 18 on that push. The high was 17. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes it doesn't move that far, that fast. Sometimes it'll just stall right there, and I've got to lock in the profits. So this was a perfect HL30. You know, sometimes they'll go to the second target, but this one did not. The next trade, I got stopped out on the pound dollar, and I'm going to show you the euro dollar as well with that idea of what I was talking about here. So I went long here and was stopped out on the pound dollar, and then was able to turn around and get back into this position. Now, this is a continuation breakout trade, and so is it here. I took this trade with the trade copier, a continuation breakout trade with the euro dollar 1 hour time frame. I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. So we've got a lot of information here. If I was to compress the charts, we can see that price, you know, support low, it's got some room, but the final target here would be about 11.55. I need to go to the larger time frames, which is also what I'm looking at, to identify whether or not this trade is going to continue to move in my favor. If it's not going to work, I'm not going to trade it as an HL30, so I'm going to switch back to an HL30 for the euro dollar, and then we'll talk about the dollar yen as well in just a moment here. So euro dollar 30-minute chart. This is the HL30 page. So I want to make this adjustment. We've got to look at that support low there. So I'm going to go ahead and move this one out of the way. We've got yesterday's high back up here. Now, if price comes back down here and retests and forms an HL30 to trade back up again, I'm most likely not going to trade that because there was a continuation sell signal candle on Tuesday, and it hasn't fulfilled and reached its final target. And right now, at this point, it looks like this is just a retracement. It may be that this one is going to totally turn around and stop me out and go right back up again. It's possible. If it does, I'm going to trade it back up, but I need to see it as a Tech 1 trade, not just a HL30. I wouldn't trade it as an HL30. Now, a Tech 1 trade is different. A Tech 1 trade is going to give me the opportunity to earn back the loss or most of it, but it's also a different take profit, and I use a different stop loss. Nothing is ever over the 55 pip, but it's always going to be at least within the... Each strategy has a different target. So it's always going to be at least one of the targets, whether it's a psychological level, if I'm trading a move back up to resistance, or maybe it's a clean A, B, C price swing move and I've got an extension target, it looks perfect. Maybe it's going to be a breakout, something to that effect. So I'm going to continue to manage this trade. We'll see what happens with it. Again, if I get stopped out, I'm going to get an opportunity on a pullback to trade it back up again if this was just sort of the head fake move. Now, for the most part, I think a lot of people are staying away from, well, you might want to try it, but this is the dollar yen. The dollar yen, and I talked about this several times today. There's some videos and a Facebook Live that I hosted on Facebook. You can go to the Best Forex Trade Copier page and find it there. We talked about the correlation between Japanese yen futures and looking for trades here on the dollar yen. Now, looking for trades here on the dollar yen and then looking at the Japanese yen futures, it was pretty obvious with volume levels, a lot of the other indicators that I look at, that price really wasn't going to go that far, that fast on this pair. So I had to make a decision. Do I want to consider executing trades on the dollar yen when price is just likely to go sideways and flat, where I'm tying up my capital and it really doesn't go anywhere and I get stuck babysitting a trade? And you might remember last Friday when price was moving around like this for 18, 19, 20, 24 hours. It's exhausting to get into a trade like this where it just doesn't go anywhere and you get stuck managing the trade. Pretty much the same thing yesterday, and then we've got Tuesday's trading range right here. I'm sorry, this is Monday. So a little more activity, a little more movement here, but again, we want to be really careful with my selection of these trades and then wait for a better opportunity. I don't know that price is ready to move significantly, so I'm going to keep on watching this one to see if we get an opportunity to trade this sometime soon. But in the meantime, I'm just staying away from it. I'm not going to trade it as an HL30 if it approaches support or resistance. I'm going to be really careful with this one. So that's pretty much it right now. I'm going to be watching the Australian dollar and possible trade there. Let's go to the Australian dollar. Looking for a possible reversal. I mean, price has found support here temporarily. I don't know if it's going to continue lower. We can go to the larger time frames and look for patterns and indicators. I use certain indicators to confirm whether or not I'm looking at tops and bottoms. This one is not that template. It's not the template that I use to identify tops and bottoms. I'll switch to that, and if I find a trade, I'll make another video, post that video, and we'll put that on the performance page as well. So everything is going okay. It could be a little more active, but I think we really need to be careful. I mean, there's a lot of discussion about the volatility or lack of in certain areas of the market with Forex as well, and I think it's just a matter of waiting for it. It's moving in a similar way, and we talked about this a couple of days ago in the chat room. 2014, there was a lot of activity. We made a lot of money 2014. I'm not saying that we're going to make as much money as we did in the summer of 2014, but it's starting to appear that we're probably going to have a pretty good summer, meaning that, and there was a couple of months in 2014 in the summer that we earned well over 4,000 pips in a single month. I'm not guaranteeing, I'm not saying that we're going to do that. It's just that if the market provides that opportunity, I'm certainly going to try and catch as much of it as I possibly can. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. Now, there are obvious factors and things that are going to control and determine whether or not that's even likely to happen. So I just got to keep paying attention to it. The other one was the dollar Canadian. So I'm going to continue to watch the dollar Canadian and the commodities markets. I do execute and use these same strategies when I'm trading my own personal account. These same strategies I apply to trading futures as well. So if you want to learn how to use this strategy to trade futures, if you trade futures on the side, I trade index futures, I trade commodities futures. I'm sorry. So you can, I'm reading a comment here as it's popping up. I apologize. The instructions on how to apply it for futures and the time frames and the markets that I trade with this particular strategy or these strategies in general, I have all of that in the membership area. You can learn how to use this, and I teach you how to put together your charts, which charts to use, which charts I use, templates. I have templates in there, worksheets, manuals. All of the entire trading course is inside of the membership area, and that is a bonus when you purchase a one-year subscription to the Trade Copier. So if you want to purchase the Trade Copier, go to bestforextradecopier.com, click the purchase page, sign up. Special offer going right now. It's limited. I have a limited number of memberships available for this particular offer, the pricing structure for the Trade Copier. Once I sell out those memberships, which I expect to do within the next 30 days, possibly less, then the Trade Copier service goes back to a monthly subscription service of $199. Right now it's a special offer. You can get a one-time payment and it'll last you for the whole year. No monthly payments at all. So that's a really good deal. I would highly recommend taking advantage of that. And then it includes the trading course. So you can learn how to apply these strategies, the breakout trades, the Tech 1 trades, all of these reversal trades, so you can trade futures as well.